Welcome to Thor Media. My name is Ivan, and today we're going to dive into increasing your ceramic coating sales. Increasing ceramic coating sales comes down to a couple simple things. First of all, don't try to sell coatings. That's where people really screw up, is they try to push a coating on someone. And coatings are something that every car deserves. Every car should have a ceramic coating. It has a lot of advantages, and we have other videos for that. But what you need to know as a professional detailer is why your customer needs a ceramic coating. As detailers, we have sort of a skewed view of why we think people need ceramic coatings. We think it's because it's glossier, because the water beading, because of this, that, and the other thing. In reality, it's far from the truth. Why consumers want a ceramic coating is my car is going to be easier to clean. I'm not going to have to clean my car as often. When I go through the car wash, yes, people take coated cars through car washes. When I go through the car wash, it comes out cleaner. Those are the real world things that people want from a ceramic coating. Not, look at this beading. Now, as detailers, yes, we love the beading, and customers come to appreciate that. But in the beginning, it's not what they're looking for. Now, if someone has just bought a new car, they more than likely have been through the finance and insurance office or the F&I office at their local dealership. They also heard all about ceramic coatings and their advantages. But they decided, rightfully so, not to use the dealership, but to go to a detailer or to do it yourself. Now, as detailers, we tend to sort of sabotage ourselves. How do we do that? We take a car that's fresh out of the showroom. The customer that just bought this car thinks it's the best car in the world. It's perfect. It's straight from the dealership. It has no flaws on it. And then some detailers get out their light and go around and point out every little defect on the car, making the customer feel bad about their new purchase and also a little resentful to the dealership. Instead, first of all, congratulate the customer on their car. It may not be the model you like, but obviously they like it enough to have purchased it. Secondly, yes, you may notice a few things, but you don't necessarily have to point them out. Educating your customer should not be on how bad their paint is. Educating your customer should be on how to maintain it after you've coated it. Now, for the coating itself, a lot of detailers start by trying to sell a coating, and even worse, trying to upsell. Never start with your lowest offering and try to work up. It just doesn't work. Always start with your best. When you go to a dealership, what do they have in their showroom? They don't have the basic two-door pickup truck with the short box with the wind-down windows and the rubber floor. No, they have the fully loaded, every option you could ever imagine truck in the showroom. If you want to see that stripped-down model, you have to take a walk of shame to the back of the dealership lot because they're not even going to take you there on their golf cart. No, they want you to buy that more expensive vehicle, obviously. But the other thing is, they're offering their best to the consumer. What you want to do as a detailer is offer your best service possible, and then let the customer decide what they want. By starting at the bottom and working your way up, the customer is going to see, oh, hey, this works, good. And then you say, well, I have something better. And then, oh, I have something even better. Don't do that. Start with your best and then go down from there if their budget doesn't permit them to have the best. And detailers often get it a little skewed, in my opinion anyways, as to what they need to offer to the customer. To me, the daily driver that's going through the car wash, that's parked outside, that has never seen the inside of a garage, is the one that needs your best ceramic coating. The most durable, the most resistant ceramic coating, that's the car that needs it. The car that sits in the garage and just goes out on the weekends to get an ice cream, that's the one that just needs your basic coating service, or maybe even a sealant. It may not need a ceramic coating. The other thing is paint correction. Now, as detailers, we know that a paint enhancement is great for a coating. It allows it to bond better. It's just a cleaner job in the end. But you don't need to do all-out paint correction, and you don't need perfect paint for ceramic coating. Ceramic coating needs clean paint, not perfect paint. I've seen detailers say this many, many times. Oh, I won't put my name on the car unless it's perfect. Your customer doesn't care. Remember, this is a person that just bought it from the dealership and thinks that the paint is perfect. Because in most people's eyes, What comes out of the showroom is as good as a car could ever get. We know different, I know, but don't try to change the consumer's mindset overnight. Okay, you're getting value from these podcasts, whether it's mine or all the other creators on Thor Media. They're doing their best to give you information, entertain you, and have a bit of fun. What can you do in exchange? You can subscribe, you can hit that notification bell, and leave comments. Every one of the content creators on Thor love your comments. They respond to them because we respect you and you respect us. As detailers, we should counsel coatings and explain to the customer what the coating can do for them. Not what we think it can do, but what it can actually do for them. Explain to the customer how much easier the car is going to be to clean, how much nicer it's going to look, how they're not going to have to clean it as often. Those are all things that matter to the customer. And we need to get on the customer's side. We need to counsel. Let's look at a three-pronged coating sales approach. First of all, identify what your customer needs. And that's simple to do. Ask them what they're going to use the car for. If they say, oh, it's my daily driver, you know exactly where you're going. If they say, oh, this is my dream car, I've always wanted this car, and I finally was able to save up to buy it, you know where you're going with that one. And if it's, oh, this is my toy, I just have it around, it's a second car, but I want to take care of it, and I just take it out on weekends, there you have your answer there. And we'll look at coatings in that perspective. The daily driver. That needs to be your toughest, most durable, best coating you can offer them. Because that's the car that's getting the abuse. And coatings are great at standing up to abuse. No, coatings do not resist scratches. Coatings do not replace PPF. Coatings will not protect against rock chips. But they will make the car easier to clean, easier to decontaminate, and better looking overall. Now, the other scenario is that dream car, the one they've always wanted, and they finally saved up enough to get it. That's the one that you can put your most luxurious coating on. And by luxurious, I mean do the door jambs, do a wheels off if you have to, do the interior, do all of that. That's what that one is for. And then that weekend car that sits in the garage 5-6 days a week, goes out just on Sundays and sunny days, and maybe cars and coffee once in a while. Like I said, it really doesn't necessarily need a coating. But yes, coating's always good for every car. On that one, put your lowest level coating. It doesn't need an 8-year durability coating. It doesn't need this, that, and the other thing. It just needs to be glossier and easier to clean. When you approach coating sales in that manner, your customer will react better because now you're not trying to upsell them and you're not judging by the price of the car. You're judging by what they're actually going to be using the car for. In doing that, your customer now has a lot more confidence in you as a detailer. Now, the home hobbyist. You want to coat your own vehicle. Well, yes, you can. Don't let any detailer tell you you can't do it yourself. Yes, you can do it yourself. It's very easy to do. Now, it takes prep, it takes time, and you'll be learning a new skill or two along the way. But you still can do it. There are a lot of great coatings out there that are very easy to apply, and coating technology has advanced so much in the last couple of years. It used to be when 20-some years ago when I started applying coatings, the car had to be pristine. The environment had to be pristine. The coating had to cure for hours, if not days. And some needed IR curing lamps and multiple coats and all sorts of different things. Today's coatings, the carrier solvents have changed dramatically, and the coating themselves have changed dramatically, to the point where it's actually easier to apply a coating than it is a wax. So if you can apply a wax, you can apply ceramic coating. Now, why do detailers charge so much for a ceramic coating? They're charging for their experience, they're charging for the prep work, and they're charging for the liability. Now, what's a liability with a coating? Over the years, people have been told that coatings do miraculous things, like protect against stone chips and scratches and lighter strikes and all sorts of weird things that people have invented. They don't do that. But there's another game in town, and that's the warranty game. And unfortunately, many coating companies have warranties, but those warranties are not necessarily what people think they are. The coating company is basically guaranteeing that if there's a failure, they're first going to blame the customer. Secondly, they're going to blame the detailer that installed it. And third, they may they may give the installer another bottle, but the labor's on them. No, they're not going to redo the coating for you. They're not going to repaint the car. They're not going to do any of that. Which brings me to another point. Don't sell coatings on warranty. Don't sell coatings on how many years they're going to last, because I can make a 1-year coating last a lifetime. And I can make a lifetime coating fail in about 30 minutes. It's all on maintenance. Now, as a detailer, you want to counsel your customer. And part of counseling them is explaining to them what the proper maintenance is. And no, you don't need special pH balanced soaps just for coatings. The coating can stand up to a lot more than the paint can, so you can use a harsher chemical on a coating. But that maintenance for the customer comes down to a few simple things. Do a hand wash once in a while. Even if you're taking it through the car wash on a regular basis, a hand wash makes a big difference. Next, decontaminate as necessary. It's not on a set schedule. Some people, they park the car inside. They just drive around this nice little town. They don't see rail dust. They don't sit on the highway in bumper-to-bumper traffic. Their car's not going to get contaminated that quickly. Now, the person that's driving back and forth to a construction site or beside a train yard, they are going to get a lot of contamination, or driving on a gravel road, or parking beside sprinklers. All these things that contribute to contamination. As a detailer, you want to show your customer how to identify contamination and either bring it back to you to get rid of that contamination, or show them how to get rid of it themselves. The more you show your customers how to properly maintain their coating, the happier they're going to be. Now, another thing is, explain to the customer how a rinseless wash works. A lot of people have this idea that washing their car at home is this 2 to 3 hour ordeal where they have to bring out all this stuff and go through all these different things. It's not that difficult. If people use a rinseless wash or even a soap and water wash, but do it intelligently, make sure they're organized, and don't overthink it, they're going to have much more fun washing their cars. And when they do that, they're happier. One thing I did in my shops is after every coating, 1 week later, we would have the customer come back. This was included in the price of the coating. It's not a free wash, it's included. What we did is have the customer come back, and we'd start washing the car, then hand over the wash media to them and have them finish. They weren't expecting to come wash their car, but we showed them just how quick, easy, and satisfying it is to wash their own car. And many people, after that, they bought a kit and they started washing their own car at home and found it fun. Because before, they had this outdated mentality that washing the car is this long, drawn-out ordeal because they see their neighbor that's trying to get away from their spouse and spending as much time as possible in the garage or the driveway washing their car. It doesn't have to be that way. You can have fun washing your car. It can be quick. It can be something you can do as a family, and it's going to make that coating last longer. It's going to make that coating perform better. One other way of increasing your coating sales is to sell less of them. Many detailers think that they need a 1 year, a 2 year, a 3 year, a 4 year, a 5 year, 6 year, 7 year, 8 year, 9 year, and lifetime coating to satisfy the customers. Pick 2, maybe 3, and run with that. And explain to your customers why you've chosen those coatings. Another thing that I see that to me is not a good thing is advertising the coating brand you're using. As a professional detailer, the coating you should be advertising is yours. The customer doesn't care what brand you're using. If they ask, of course, tell them. But if they're not asking, don't tell. The reason for that is today you might be branded in purple with pink polka dots because that's the company colors of the coating you're using. What happens the day you decide to change coatings? You've sold this brand as opposed to selling yourself and your services. You've sold someone else's brand. You've got banners all over the place. You're wearing the pink and purple t-shirt. You're doing all of this. And then you decide one day that you're going to black and orange. What happens? Well, you go to the black and orange, or you go to the red and black, or you go to the green, or whatever. The customers that you've served before are saying, well, before you told me this was the best coating in the world, and now you're telling me this other coating is the best coating in the world. What happened? By not using someone else's brand, and coating companies can do their own branding. They can do their own marketing. You don't have to do it for them. You need to market yourself as a professional detailer. You need to explain to the customers why you're using the coating you're using, and that's it. You don't have to explain what coating you're using, but why you're using it. And it's as simple as, I've done a lot of testing, I've read a lot of material, and I've tried many coatings. And these are the coatings that I, as a professional, am more comfortable using, that I know are going to last, that I've done testing myself with, and that I'm happy with. That's all your customer needs to know. Now, if they want to know the brand, of course, tell them the brand. That's not a secret, but it shouldn't be plastered everywhere in your shop and on you, and everything that you have should be identified to your personal brand, not your coating company's brand. There's a big difference here. They are not paying you for branding. I come from a racing background. And in racing, if someone wants their name on my car, they're paying for it. If they want the name on the hauler, they're paying for it. If they want the name on my helmet or my suit, they're paying for it. No coating company is paying you to advertise them. So don't. Simply don't. Now, if you're a hobbyist, sure, in your man cave, have all those posters, have all those brands laying out. That's great. But as a professional, not a good idea. You're building your own brand, and that's the brand you want to maintain. That's the brand you want to cherish. That's the brand your customers need to know. They don't need to know what brand of coating you're using. They need to know what your brand is, what your personality is, and what you do for them. The other aspect of selling coatings is pricing. Many detailers underprice themselves. They go way too low. Like I said, there's time, there's effort, there's education involved in applying coatings. But there also needs to be profitability. And the reason for that profitability, like I said, is a bit of liability. If something goes sideways, it's going to be your fault. Trust me. The customer is not going to accept that they're the ones that washed it with sandpaper. And the coating company is not going to accept that you did everything right and the customer did everything right and it's their coating that failed. No, they're going to blame you. So you're in the middle. You're the one that gets the blame. So if you ever have to redo something, well, you're covered. You were paid for. The people that race to the bottom, that try to have the lowest price, always get the lowest quality of customers. By raising your prices a little bit, by following the local established market, you will get better quality customers. You won't get that person with a 10-year-old Honda with a failing paint on the roof saying, will a coating save this? No, you're going to get the person that just bought a brand new car that wants to protect it. If you're undervaluing yourself, your customers will undervalue you as well. Raise your pricing, raise your value, provide the quality that matches the pricing, and customers will come. They're not going to run away. They're not going to be scared. And yes, you can have a budget option. But like I mentioned, your best coating in terms of durability, in terms of ease of cleaning, should always be the daily driver coating. The Garage Queen coating, they don't really need one. And then the Dream Car coating, that's your over-the-top offering. And speaking of over-the-top offerings, you should always have one. Because no one wants to buy the most expensive offering you have, or almost no one. Some people will actually buy it. But you want a coating package that is $1,000 or $2,000 more than what you would normally charge. Now, you're going to give value for that money. You're not just taking their money, saying this is a better coating. No, you're going to give value. That value will come in coating the wheels, coating the door jambs, coating the calipers, coating the glass, coating the interior, all of the above. You are doing a 100% coating job. If it can be coated, you're going to coat it. But you're charging for it. And there are some people that just simply want the best of the best. And when you say, I have a $5,000 coating package, many people are going to go, ooh, it's a little too much. But my most popular package is my $2,000 package. Oh, okay, well, that's better. And remember, prices of cars are going up and up and up. Your coating prices should be following the market. If you were selling a ceramic coating at $1,000 10 years ago, you shouldn't be selling a ceramic coating at $1,000 today. That $20,000 car 10 years ago is probably $35,000 now. So adjust accordingly. And your customers will follow. And again, the higher your pricing, without exaggerating, the better quality customers you will have because they're looking for value. They're not looking for a price or a deal. And there's a big difference between value and price. Cheap doesn't always provide value. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, or ideas, leave them below. Always happy to answer. And we'll see you in the next deep dive.